This is Abdikarim from Codeside Academy. Today we'll be talking about Flask login and creating a user login system. If you have watched my previous video tutorials, you'll see what I've explained and how we can sign up users. Now what we want to do now, after signing up, users have to sign in, then we need to save their session. So to be able to do this, we'll be making use of a module, a Flask module called Flask login, a Flask extension. It's an extension of Flask called Flask login. Flask login it provides user management system for your Flask project or any Flask app you're working on. If it requires login management. So with Flask, we don't have to stress ourselves in doing so many things. It store the session ID, whatever you want to store. So if you are new, this is Codeside Academy. Make sure you always visit codesideacademy.com. You read all the tutorials, practice them. If you have any issues or any questions or any doubt, you can message me, inbox me directly. My contact is there. Just click on About Me and stay tuned for new tutorials. So let the coding begin. So in my previous class, we create this, we develop this. So now we have to do something now. We need to import some things from Flask login. We have already installed Flask login in the previous tutorial. If you are just watching, you can watch the previous tutorial and see how to install Flask login. So I'll import some things from Flask login. I'll import Flask login from Flask login. Import login manager. So we'll import user mixing. We'll import login user. We'll make use of login user. Login user. Make use of login required, and we'll make use of user mixing. Okay, I'll import the logout user. Use logout user. So for now, I think that is what we need for now. So since we have all this here now, so we can do something else. So remember, let me run the code. Our index is the sign up page. Our index is the sign up page. The index route is the sign in page, sorry, where user have to sign in. So let me just visit the route. Localhost 80 or 80,000. Okay, the port is 80,000. Now this is our login. So if user login, this should take them to dashboard here. If the login is authenticated, it should take them to dashboard. So this is how we do this. I'll come to the template here and give all the templates a unique name, so I can reference the name from my backend from the Python file. So I've already done that to have name username. So just let me change this placeholder to username material. You can use anything you like. You can use email too. Okay, now we have this. We have this guy here now. Okay, cool. So we'll go back to our Python main.py. We need to create another route. You can just say if request.method equals to post, but I won't do that now. So all I have to do, you can do this any way you want it. So I'll make this attack.route. So I'll call this route processor, and we'll have div So once we have this, there's a username. Let's just have a variable that we use to request. So before we do that, this route will only be taking post, whereby the user will be posting their username and password. They will checkmate in the database if the username and password is authenticated. So I'll say method equals to post. So we have a variable called username which will store what we'll be getting from the user. So request dot form username, which is the name we have given to our HTML. We have password. So it goes to request dot form password. Cool. Now once we have this, let me just return to confirm if I'm really getting something real. So let me let me just check, and we can have password is okay. I'm just doing normal concatenation, that's nothing big. I just want to check if I'm really getting something. So since we have this, I need to tell my HTML to submit the form to this route called processor. So I'll come to this index. Since the route will be taking only post, so I'll say action. Sorry, method goes to post, and then action will be home. Action will be the route called processor, which we have created. Okay. So there is error in the code, so I didn't type this correctly. Login required. Boom. Okay, so let me restart the server. Boom. Okay. So let's test it out. Okay, now you can see it's not displaying which means I'm just entering something empty. I have this password will be okay. Now it's working. Here is your username, iron site. There is no space here, and password is this nonsense. Okay, we are really getting real value from our user. So we really need to build this authentication system. So the first thing we have to put into consideration is that we need to set a kind of let me call it configuration. We need to have a configuration. We need to instantiate our object for the user login system. So I'll create a variable called login manager equals to this guy that we import here. Just copy and paste that. And the next thing is we need to initialize use this object to initialize the app. So instantiate this, we'll do login manager dot init. So is init underscore app. Init underscore app. Okay. I'm making a mistake. Am I making a mistake? I'm really making a mistake. Okay, cool. Now once we have done this, okay, so we need to tell the login manager the view. If user refuses to sign in and they are trying to access the dashboard, we need to tell the login manager the view it will redirect them to. What I mean by the view, the route. So the route will be this route, sign in. So if you are trying to access the dashboard and you did not sign in, it will redirect you back to index. So what I mean by that is if I should try to access dashboard, it wouldn't bring me here because I have not logged in. It's supposed to take me back here and tell me you have not logged in. So to do that, all we have to do, we'll have to talk to the, what's happening to my mouse? We'll have to talk to login manager to redirect the user to their appropriate place to log in. So it's very simple and easy to do. So we'll call something called login underscore view equals to the name of the route we wanted to redirect us to, which is this route, sign in. So we'll copy this name, the function inside that route, that's the name. No, sorry about that. Let me just type it, sign in. Okay, alright, that's all for now. So once we are through with this, see, it's a mistake. Okay, once we have done this and we are able to get this correctly, so we need to have a counter, a kind of user loader for our session. So we'll create this. I'll call it decorator. Call it like a decorator. Login manager. That's login manager dot user loader. And I have a function called load user. So once I have this, then you can say return the name of this table. So return user dot query dot get int, then user ID. Now we'll pass in something here. I made a mistake, I forgot to do that. Pass in user ID here. Alright, once we have done this, so the next thing is to move move to our sign-in route. So I'll go to the sign-in route here. I'll go to the sign-in route here. Sorry, the processor route. Instead of returning all this content, nobody will try to return his username or password publicly. So we'll do this from the back end. So I'll create a variable called user. The user. Then I'll create the table called user again, which is this table, which is this class user. I'll query this. I'll say user.query .filter filter by username. Remember, we have a column called username in our table. So I'll query this username. So once I'm able to do that, then I'll say dot first. It's just like the normal way you usually have select from where this is equals to this, select or from whatever. I've forgotten the traditional SQL statement we used to have back then. So what we'll be doing here now, what I'm telling this user variable to do is to query where user input. It should filter the entire database where the entire table where user is equals to whatever user type here. So if I type in my name here, it will query. It will filter my table looking for whatever I type here, which is my username. Then whenever it sees it, which will be the first place. The first place it sees this. It sees this username. That will be the first result, and that will be the end. So which means you must make your username to be unique. But I don't think we make username to be unique, so we'll have to do that later. So make sure you always make your username unique when you are doing a real life project. So I'll continue. So if we'll check if username is confirmed, which is true. So we'll do something else. So we'll check if username is confirmed, then we need to check if the password is the same thing as what is inside the database. If the password I'm typing is equals to the password in the column called password that belongs to this user. If the password is the same thing as my password, then we should do something. So we'll use another if user dot password equals to password. So if this guy user query with username dot first, everything about this user is saved on this variable we have here. So then if this user, a column called password, is equals to the password I entered here, then that means I'm a correct user. I really have account. Yeah, I'm authenticated. So before we save the session of that, let's just test. Return you have valid record in the database. Now we can do else statement. So we can just say else. If this is wrong, I'll just return something. Invalid username or password. So before I do that, I'll have to switch on my XAMPP, because in the previous tutorial we make use of XAMPP and MySQL, so I need to switch on my XAMPP. Where is my XAMPP? XAMPP. Just let me look for it.
Oh my god. Okay, let me search again. So I can't find XAMPP.
So I'll fix my XAMPP now. So I've already switched on my XAMPP. My XAMPP is back alive now working. Where is again XAMPP? XAMPP. I don't know why this XAMPP always disappear. Okay, it's on. That's all I know. So I'll continue with the class. So once we have this guy here, now we want to check if this is accurate. So I'll say Python main.py. Okay, so okay, we have it here already. So let me refresh this. So I can create account and create a new account. I'll call this site on the password. Okay, sign up complete. So now I need to log in. So to log in, I'll type in my username and my password. So if my password is correct, okay, we have this. You have valid record in the database, which means my username and password is correct. Now we need to save this into a session, and only once this is done, we should return user to the dashboard. So to be able to do this, we need to make use of this function that will import this class. I don't know. So we'll make use of this function. Okay. So what this function does is to protect a particular route. For example, I want dashboard to be protected. I want it to be available to only logged in users. So it's only when user is logged in, it can only make use of login required. And once I'm done with that, then before user can be able to access this, they need to have a session running. So to be able to save user session, we'll make use of this function that we import, which is here, up here, this function, login user. We'll make use of this function. So this is the function of each, this is the features of each thing that I import. So I'll paste this, then I'll log in this entire variable. So this was saved into our session. So once this is saved, then we can return user. Back to the dashboard. So all we have to do, we have to return redirect. URL for the name of the URL, which is dashboard. So I'll copy that and I'll paste here. Boom. So once we have this, then I think we can proceed. So I'll remove this. I'll remove this. Just let me cut it. Yes, remove this completely. Okay. And let me remove this content, this guy. Alright. Now we can check if there is invalid username or invalid password, or the username and password is valid, then we can take user to the dashboard. So let's test it. Let's test this out. So let me reload this. Oh, something has happened to my Okay, it's saying else invalid syntax. Let me check what's going on. Okay, we need to make a good clarification here. You remember this if statement we have here, this if is checking for the username if the username is correct, this guy here, and this second if is checking if the password is correct. So you can have these two things, these things like this, saying else and return invalid password. And I don't think you have to do this for security reason, and this can return invalid username, but don't do this in a real production server. You can just leave this guy alone for the confusion, then user can sort it out themselves. Okay, so let me restart the server. What the fuck is going on? Why is it invalid? Is this? I don't know why this is invalid. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. It's not compulsory you put this this else here. Automatically, if this is not running, it will come down here straight. So you don't have to stress yourself about putting else here. So you can just remove this. But this is the work of this second else. So once this if user is not verified, it will automatically come here, which means this is else automatically by itself. So let's just run this again. What's going on? I don't know. Okay, so here I didn't close this this bracket here, that's why I'm having this syntax error issue. So now if we run this, we should have everything going smoothly. Okay, so now we should test our app. Okay, now let me try and enter the wrong username, password. Let's see. Well, you can say invalid username or password. So, and if I should try to visit dashboard now and I'm not logged in, oh, it's saying something. Or okay, now the reason why this is like this is that we need to give this a secret key. So we need to give this guy a secret key. So just you can give it any random name, you can just choose anything for a secret key. So I'll come to this place. We'll say app.config. So then secret key. Secret key. I hope I'm getting the spell right. Okay, I can spell secret key. Okay, this secret key. I can't spell right now. Okay, I think I'm getting it right. The secret key. Okay, make your secret key anything you want. So now I should try to visit the dashboard. Now you can say I can't visit the dashboard now. So it's not giving me next %, which is dashboard. If I should try to visit dashboard again, I can't visit the dashboard because I'm not authenticated, I'm not logged in.
So to be able to do that, so let me log in on your side, and the password will be 11. So that is the error, and we have this user object has no attribute is active. Oh, what's that? Okay. Where do we get that from? Where do we get that from? It's quite a while I've used Flask. So let's see, where do we get that from? Okay, we're supposed to put user mixing this that we import here. We import something called user mixing. So this is what Flask login will be able to talk to our DB to have access to more information. So that is what we are missing. So now let me try and reload, try and submit again. And I say redirect is not, oh my god. So I need to import redirect here. Redirect, okay. And import URL for. Those are the things I use here. Here I use redirect and I use URL for. So I didn't import them earlier. So once that is done, let me reload this, guys. Boom. Wow, voila. So we are good. So now we can have a user login system without logging out. So we just need to implement the logout part where user can also log out of the session, so which means the session will be deleted. So that one is the easiest thing to do. Very, very easy to do. So I'll come here. So I'll have another decorator called app.route /logout. Then we have diff. We have import the logout function before logout. Then we say logout user. Just type logout user and say return. Let's just return something generic again. You are logout. So now let me restart the server. Okay, restarted automatically. So let me reload this page. So I should try to visit /logout. I can see you have logged out. So since I've logged out, if I try to enter dashboard again, now you can see I can't visit the dashboard again, which means I have to log in before accessing the dashboard. So this is what we'll be covering in login authentication. There's too many of bugs during this code. It's live, so I don't really plan for this. I just wake up now and said, oh, let me do this, and I'm doing it. So stay tuned for the next tutorial. I will explain how we can encrypt our password, send email to user for authentication, and add some cool stuff. I'll get this to my GitHub now. I'll upload this to my GitHub. You can download it. But please, I beg you guys, subscribe if you want more of this. If you really enjoy this, subscribe. Hit the like button and comment below. Please, subscription is very important. Subscribe and make sure you click on the notification button. And if you have any issues, you can contact me. Visit codesideacademy.com. There's plenty of tutorials there, which I will be posting more and more in the future. So make sure you always visit codesideacademy.com, and see you guys next time. And thank you for watching.